Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for January 17th, 2025. This is a time machine episode, so I've got I got less than an hour. I am Merwad. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the Sentient AI, we talk about articles every day, either Monday through Friday for Non Sequitur News, or on the weekends, we do 6 different shows. You'll have to just come and hang out and stay a while and listen. You can interact here in the Twitch and YouTube chats. There's a Discord, there's Patreon, and all of it gets turned into podcasts. So there's 7 different podcasts as well. 6 of which, like I said, are weekly shows, and then 1 is a daily show, Monday through Friday. The 3 shows on Saturday get turned into the weekend edition of Non Sequitur News for Saturday, and the other 3 shows on Sunday, all of which are unique, get turned into the Sunday edition of Non Sequitur News Weekend Edition. Anyway, we've got 10 articles, but the Sentient AI is not available for today's show. We're going to be filling those scripts, and Sheep After Dark and Starship Debris Damages Property, Low to ground pollution, superb owl advertisements, PepsiCo price discrimination, GM and privacy, Canon charges to use camera as a camera? Okay. Parking lots open for Lions playoff game, and can you read cursive? Everything is powered by ohmtown.com. That's that way up there. I'm going to lose my finger here in a minute if you're in the podcast right about there. Yeah. Anyway. Go to ohmtown.com, become a citizen. It's real easy. We don't spam you with anything, but if you follow us on Twitch or YouTube, you'll get notified when we go live. And we normally don't have much of a lag between going live and the announcement. So, we'll go live, the announcement goes out, and we are actually talking. So, be sure to follow us, and hope to see you here or in the podcasts, Patreon, Discord, etc., etc., etc. We're everywhere. TikTok until Sunday. All right, let's get into it. The very first article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel, which is all about business transformation. DOJ sues Walgreens for knowingly filling millions of scripts that lacked legit medical purposes. I'm not sure how that is even possible, but Dan Mangan over at CNBC.com put the article together. The Department of Justice sued pharmacy giant Walgreens for allegedly dispensing millions of unlawful prescriptions. Walgreens from August 2012 until the present knowingly filled those prescriptions which lacked a legitimate medical purpose, were not valid, and or were not issued in the usual course of professional practice. It's interesting because there's no way that I would be able to get away with any of that kind of stuff if I wanted to. But it seems like there are people out there that do, but it's usually an insider threat that facilitates it and not something that is part and parcel to normal ethical enterprise, right? But hey, I am not sitting here saying that business is ever ethical. I think that business eventually becomes unethical in the pursuit of profits. But ethics are subjective. Okay, there's cultural and temporal ethics and moral code and compass that dictates what people do. And a person, a human, will justify whatever the hell they can. And just for the record, even AI will, because we as humans program the AI. And if we are the ones that are defining what AI is, it too will be able to equivocate just to get something done. So the article is over at CNBC by Dan Mangan, and it says the lawsuit seeks to hold Walgreens accountable for the many years that it failed to meet its obligations when dispensing dangerous opioids and other drugs, said Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General Ryan Boynton, head of the DOJ Civil Division. Boynton said Walgreens pharmacists filled millions of prescriptions with clear red flags that indicated the prescriptions were highly likely to be unlawful. And for the life of me, I don't know how that even happens, because honestly, I don't know how a prescription can be filled without it being verified that a medical professional authorized it. It says these practices allowed millions of opioid pills and other controlled substances to flow illegally out of Walgreens stores. The 300-page lawsuit was filed Thursday in U.S. District Court in Chicago. Walgreens said in a statement that we're asking the court to clarify the responsibilities of pharmacies and pharmacists and to protect against the government's attempt to enforce arbitrary rules that do not appear in any law or regulation and never went through any official rulemaking process. It's not written explicitly, so we made money, we're good. Anyway, it says, we will not stand by and allow the government to put our pharmacists in a no-win situation trying to comply with rules that simply do not exist, Walgreens said. Well, let's see. You can't fill a prescription unless it is verified and valid. So unless there is a conspiracy in every single state where somebody is validating the prescriptions, there's something systemically wrong. Anyway, Walgreens prioritized profits over safety and compliance by implementing policies and practices that required pharmacists to fill prescriptions quickly and left pharmacists without enough time or resources to exercise their corresponding responsibility, it says. So one such metric was verified by Promise Time, or VBPT, which expected a pharmacist to fill a prescription within 15 minutes for a waiter, a customer waiting in the pharmacy for the prescription, the suit alleges. Yeah. Walgreens also tracked pharmacists that dispensed a low rate of controlled substances through its non-dispensing pharmacist report. Walgreens created this metric in part because it believed pharmacists who refused to fill controlled substance prescriptions compromised Walgreens customer service. Yeah. Again, they're seeking greater profits, and it's compromising the safety of consumers. They're saying that it's violating or it's hindering the customer and the business, but it's really, by doling it all out, it's harming potential customers for those who might be abusing the system. Anyway, let's keep on going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Internet obsessed with sheep are filmed doing only at nighttime. So it says, really resonate with those stupid sheep, a poster wrote on TikTok, which might be going away Sunday, unless something just kind of miraculous happens. Lydia Patrick over at Newsweek.com put this article together, and there's a video of the sheepdogs. But I don't think the video has anything to do with it. There is a TikTok one that's embedded, and it says, they are idiots who jump, or they are idiots. Why did they jump over the light reflection? I love them. Says somebody who posted it on TikTok. Me, if I was a sheep, that's a bit silly. She captioned the post. So Soph, or Sophae, SOPHFAE, over on TikTok, shared the clip, which quickly garnered 1.6 million likes and 6.2 million views on TikTok. Sheep possess a unique visual system that significantly influences their behavior and interactions. Their eyes are positioned to the sides of their head, providing them with nearly 360-degree vision. This wide field of view allows them to detect predators from almost any direction. However, this arrangement also creates a blind spot directly in front of their noses and behind their tails. Interesting. So, for the same reason humans jump over sea waves at the beach, is what one commenter said. Yeah, I don't think that's the same reason, but okay. Another viewer provided a more scientific take. I know you're not looking for an actual answer, haha, but they have a wide angle vision and have bad depth perception. They jump because they're not sure what the light could be since they can't see it. Now they can see it. They can see it flash onto the ground. They just don't know what it is. I'm sure if you were to train them to not care, educate them on it being light, then they wouldn't care. Okay, let's keep going though. Got 30 minutes. I'm going to keep hustling through this. So the next article is we're back into the Hatch Ideas channel. It's all about business transformation. FAA grounds SpaceX Starship after mid-flight explosion, reports property damage on Turks and Caicos. The FAA grounded SpaceX Starship. Well, it grounded itself, I suppose, pending an investigation into the failure that caused the rocket to break apart mid-flight after launch on Thursday. I had read somewhere that there was a buildup of gases, I guess, enough that it ignited and basically destroyed itself. Michael Sheets and Leslie Josephs over at CNBC put the article together. The Regular noted that in a statement that it has received reports of public property damage on Turks and Caicos Islands in the Caribbean. So SpaceX must complete the investigation and put in place any required corrective actions before the FAA issues the company with a new license to launch Starship again. Well, this is costing millions of dollars, and I'm really curious because I don't think that there's much in terms of actionable effort getting to Mars. I'm not quite sure what we're going to find there when we have just gross related, we have issues here on Earth. I would prefer concentrating on going to the moon so that we can build bases there, defensible bases there, build a base there, and then launch from there. But, that's me. And I also don't like the idea of it all being private profit, using public money, yet still marginalizing and hobbling the very government that's facilitating all of this. Because this is not being put together by private money. It's public money that's becoming private money and turning, I'm just dumbfounded. I can't even say anything. Anyway, the FAA diverted and delayed dozens of commercial air flights, including several operated by American Airlines, JetBlue, Delta, after the Starship rocket exploded and rained debris down onto the area around Turks and Caicos. But there's a whole swath. I mean, you can see this picture. Orange balls of light fly across the sky as debris from the SpaceX Starship. Rain debris everywhere. Brilliant, right? Anyway, millions of dollars. I'm sure that we all learned something and somebody made money off of it. All right. Well, the next article is over in Non Sequitur News, and anyway, I won't get into it. There's a lot to this to unpack, and it's very frustrating. So the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Air stagnation alert issued as Oregon warned of pollution low to ground. A surface inversion is preventing the normal mixing of air, meaning pollutants will remain trapped at lower altitudes. And that means that it'll be harder for people with asthma and other breathing conditions. If you're immunocompromised, etc., you're going to have a harder time. Matthew Impelli over at Newsweek.com put the article together, and it says, why does it matter? And they do this thing now. They've really broken out. It seems kind of weird how it's explaining why it's important and what it is and stuff like that, which is great here. What is air stagnation advisory? Because they're explaining what it is, but why it matters. It's going to be a little bit different for everybody. But like I said, it's going to be issues with respiratory problems. So the advisory covers multiple regions across Idaho and Oregon, including densely populated valleys and mountain areas where air movement is already limited. So children, elderly, and those with pre-existing respiratory conditions should take precautions, wear a mask, stay inside, ventilate as much as possible. But they talk about what it is. Basically, the air isn't circulating enough. So cold air sinks, hot air rises, and it's supposed to churn. But when everything is too close together, it doesn't churn effectively. So you'll have these areas that are just kind of oppressively, kind of a flavor of temperature, and they'll just sit there, no air really moving. And when it's bad air, you're going to be breathing the bad air. So residents are encouraged to limit outdoor activities, especially strenuous exercise, and to use indoor air filtration systems if possible. Officials are also asking people to minimize activities that contribute to air pollution, such as wood burning and unnecessary vehicle usage. So yeah, the wind, I guess, is going down the coast instead of over the countryside. Pretty rough. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in the mobile channel. State Farm cancels Super Bowl ad or Superb Owl ad over California fires. So the insurance giant had canceled or has canceled a Super Bowl ad that was set to air during the big game in February. In part, it said, over the raging wildfires in California. So maybe the ad was related to fires and the fact that insurance companies are canceling stuff left and right. Our focus is firmly on providing support to the people of Los Angeles. We will not be advertising during the game as originally planned. Yeah, save that money and spend that money on your customers instead of profit. Insurance giant State Farm has canceled a Super Bowl ad or Superb Owl ad, since we're not allowed to talk about the Super Bowl. It was set to air during the big game in February. The insurance company said it's serving more than 8 million customers in California and added that its agents and other employees are all focused on helping customers impacted by the Southern California wildfires in the midst of this tragedy. It's kind of interesting because your bills would be lower if not for the excessive price of advertising during a Super Bowl. But since people are they have to have insurance for a mortgaged house, you have to pay the bill. And different companies have different advertising spend rates. So, and different performance and different allowances for risk. So you have to figure out which company will cover your property and you can afford their rates. The cost for the ads in 2024 was reaching $7 million. It's only $1 per customer. Right? That's all it is. Their spend rate for that ad. In 2022, the average cost of a Super Bowl ad was $6.5 million. So according to 2024, those ads for 2024 were reaching $7 million. So what are they now? Probably 8.5. Anyway, these numbers will rise as residents return and assess damage. 50 million back into the customer's hands. That's what that's what State Farm said in a statement, that it's received more than 8,300 home and auto claims related to the Los Angeles fires and has put it well over 50 million back into customers' hands. That's right, because it's not your money, it's their money. That's why your insurance, to give them back what they lose when they naturally are covered by something. Anyway, the next article is over in Hedge Ideas as well. Kind of a big day for the channel. FTC sues PepsiCo, alleging price discrimination is raising costs for consumers. The FTC is suing PepsiCo for alleged price discrimination in the final days of the Biden administration. Not sure what that really means. A company has the right to raise their prices, and it isn't like something based on a crisis or anything, so it's not exploitive or anything like that. The FTC is suing PepsiCo. The unnamed retailer is Walmart, according to the source familiar with the matter that told CNBC, allegedly giving an unnamed big box retailer more favorable prices than its competition. That big box retailer is Walmart. Pepsi denied the allegation and called the lawsuit partisan. Not quite sure why it would be partisan, but okay. But it's not unheard of that Walmart demands the lowest possible price from a wholesaler. To sell your product within Walmart, you have to provide them the lowest rate. And you can't sell it anywhere else. It's part of the contract. You can't sell it lower. You cannot sell it lower. They actually have the ability to sue you to obtain the lowest rate. So let's say you sell something for 10 cents everywhere else, and you sell it for 9 cents to Walmart. the moment you decide that you want to sell it everywhere else for 8 cents, they can sue you to lower the historical price down to 8 cents. And that's part of their contracts, from my understanding. Honestly, I've only been told of them. I've never seen a Walmart contract, but Amelia Lucas over at CNBC.com put this article together, and it says here that Pepsi denied any of the allegations and said that FTC's lawsuit is wrong, both factually and legally. They strongly dispute FTC's allegations and the partisan manner in which the suit was filed. They'll vigorously present our case in court. The practices are in line with industry norms, and we do not favor certain customers by offering discounts or promotional support to some customers and not others. Walmart didn't immediately respond. They said that a substantial portion of the alleged violations are redacted in the lawsuit, citing legal protections given to Pepsi and the large big box retailer. The commission is seeking to lift the redactions to show how Pepsi broke the law and how those alleged actions led to higher prices for competing retailers. So why aren't there legal protections protecting everybody? Why is there something here that says citing legal protections given to Pepsi and the big box retailer? Why is it written like that? If we don't all get it, then what's going on here? The Robbins-Batman Act was passed in 1936, but the federal government stopped enforcing it during the deregulation of the 1980s. The FTC resumed its enforcement in December when it sued Southern Glazers, the largest U.S. distributor of wine and spirits. They kind of threw in the Robbins-Batman Act. Interesting. Yeah, I suspect that this will all get thrown out anyway in just a couple of days. This will die on the vine. Because just be prepared. Companies are going to be able to abuse the ever-living crap out of customers in the coming years. Let's keep going, though. The next article is over in Technology Today, which is one of our shows. That's actually on tomorrow. General Motors barred, and since this is a time machine, I mean Sunday. So General Motors barred from selling driver data for 5 years. The company allegedly collected and sold geolocation driver data to third-party companies without anybody's real knowledge of it. You might have been using something, and the information gathered was just kind of included in your purchase of the car. So nobody really knew about the privacy concerns. The actions address the privacy concerns about GM's now discontinued smart driver program, which allegedly collected and sold private data from millions of vehicles without properly identifying consumers or obtaining their consent. Such data, specifically obtaining their consent. Such data could potentially be used to determine insurance rates, and that's what was going on. Insurance companies were buying them from third parties and then changing the insurance rate. So GM monitored and sold precise geolocation data and driver behavior information, sometimes often as every 3 seconds. FTC Chair Lena Khan alleged in the release, the FTC is safeguarding Americans' privacy and protecting people from unchecked surveillance, except, government surveillance. Let's keep going, though. The next article is over on the Wanted channel. Canon charges $50 per year to use a $900 camera to function as a webcam. Photography enthusiasts pay a lot for their very powerful cameras. How much more should they pay to put them to much, much easier work as a webcam? However many hundreds of dollars you paid, Canon thinks you should pay $5 per month or $50 per year to do that. Roman Zip detailed his journey from incredulousness to grim resignation in a blog post. He bought a Canon PowerShot G5X Mark II, or maybe it's a G510 Mark II, for something like $900 last year. The compact model gave him the right match for focal length and sensor size for concert pics. What it didn't give him was apparently the ability to use it as a webcam. Kevin Purdy over at ArsTechnica.com put the article together, and it says here, The $6,299 camera referenced in Zip's blog post title is his indication that all models of Canon's cameras face this conundrum regardless of price point. So no matter what, apparently, Canon is saying if you want to use it as a USB webcam, you're going to have to pay $50 a month. But it says, but that's because Zip did not pay. If you head to Canon's site, provide a name and email, and manage to grab the EOS webcam utility when Canon servers are not failing, you can connect one camera with one default scene at 720p, 30 frames per second, and adjust everything on the camera itself if you need to. Should you pay $5 per month or $50 per year, you can unlock EOS Webcam Utility Pro, which provides full 60 frames per second video and most of the features you'd expect out of a webcam that costs hundreds fewer dollars. This is batshit crazy. You have to be a subscriber. Otherwise, the stuff that's already in it, you're not allowed to use. Even though you pay for all of it, you can't use it as a webcam. Zips pointed complaint made the front page of Hacker News, where commenters immediately got sidetracked into a discussion of UK tariff laws on video equipment, sneakers, cookies, ethanol. But further in, recommendations appear for the open source Magic Lantern camera add-on software, or possibly Canon Hack Development Kit firmware. Whether or not Zip can better use his camera as a webcam is somewhat beside the point, but at least the point he's trying to make. Anyway, this is batshit crazy. And the real thing here is all we need is a clean HDMI out where there's no overlays. I used to use Nikon cameras, but sold those because I didn't want to have to worry about mirror slap anymore. And I didn't want to have to leave a camera on, like a DSLR camera on. So I switched to webcams. And and a iPhone. Might as well just use that instead. But this is ridiculous. This is back to like BMW charging $5 per month. Actually, I think it was $15 per month for heated seats. You know, this is all exploitive bullshit, software as a service crap that consumers need to rail against, absolutely be livid against. Let's keep moving. The next article is over on 4-Wheel Tech. Detroit judge allows parking lots with $1,000 parking spaces to reopen ahead of Lions playoff game. That's right. The Detroit Lions are finally good again. 2022 saw their first winning season since 2017, and this year they're back in the NFC Championship playing against the Washington Commanders for their shot at the Super Bowl, or to get the Superb Owl. If you can imagine, there's a lot of enthusiasm for this game, and a lot of folks are looking to make money. So enter exploitive business practices. The city initially shut down the parking lots, claiming their prices were illegally high. But what is to stop a consumer from paying, right? So, as you can imagine, there's a lot of enthusiasm. So park right lots in Detroit charging as much as $1,000 for a parking space. That prompted the city to step in and shut them down, but a judge has since called to reopen them via the Detroit Free Press. So if you insist on driving right into downtown and parking in a lot that's only a few minutes walk from the stadium, you generally expect to pay a premium. $1,000 though, that's insane. The article again is by Colin Woodard over at jalopnik.com. So if you want to know more about this, come on down. The simple fact is, people may be willing to pay $1,000 to park in a parking spot. While the city alleged that Parkrite had been illegally overcharging for services, a misdemeanor that comes with a $500 fine and up to 90 days in jail, the judge allowed them to reopen ahead of the playoff game. He did require them to take down their special game day rate and made them promise not to do something like that again. At least for now. No fines have reportedly been issued, but if they can still raise the rates, right? If they had, though, the $1,000 parking spots would have likely been completely legal. So what are they being told that they can't do it? Today we accomplished what we set out to do, which is to make sure parking lot owners are charging only the rates that are allowed and not trying to gouge customers. But they're saying that it's legal. It would have likely been completely legal. So you have to submit a form 30 days prior to increasing the cost of parking. So, all right. Yeah, it's a form. That's all. So now they're going to do that, right? It's going to be $1,000 a parking spot for a day while you're in the game. All right. Well, anyway, the last article for today's Time Machine episode for January 17th, 2025 is over in the Mobile channel. And it says, can you read this cursive handwriting? The National Archives wants your help. Anyone with an internet connection can volunteer to transcribe historical documents and help make the archive's digital catalog more accessible. Sarah Kuda over at SmithsonianMag.com, Smithsonian Magazine, put the article together, and it's really interesting. They have a thumbnail, or they have a picture on deck that says, it's captioned as a Revolutionary War pension and bounty land warrant application submitted by James Lambert. And I can read some of this. The following is the dedication of James Lambert, a soldier of the Revolutionary War in, I think it says North America. And it goes on. But essentially, they've been scanning back 200 years worth of written documents, mostly in cursive. They're difficult to read, particularly for Americans who never learned cursive in school, but that's a modern thing. I learned cursive in school. But that's why the National Archives is looking for volunteers who can help transcribe and organize its many handwritten records. The goal of the Citizen Archivist program is to help unlock history by making digital documents more accessible, according to the project's website. So there are tens of millions of records. All you need is the ability to essentially tag a file, and you can start. You pick a record that hasn't been done and read the instructions. It's easy to do for a half hour a day or a week. If you're not confident in your cursive deciphering skills, the National Archives has other tasks available too, such as tagging documents that other volunteers have already transcribed. Tagging helps improve the searchability of the records. Already more than 5,000 volunteers have joined the Citizen Archivist program. Many are hard at work on missions or groups of documents that need transcribing and tagging. For example, current missions include Revolutionary War pension files and employee contracts from 1866 to 1870. Pretty cool. Yeah. Anyway, there is a lot more to this, so follow the links through ohmTown. These links are embedded in the show notes, but they'll also be embedded in the show notes with the podcast. And they're currently available via Ohmatron over on twitch.tv/ohmTown. Once you're in the chat, all you have to do is hit !NSN for Non Sequitur News, and that will pull it up. But that's it, folks. We are going to go on a mission that will return us to the front page of ohmTown. And you can go and check it out too, become a citizen, and then you can help us by showing up every day. It's typically at 7 p.m., but the schedule is flexible because my mayoral duties keep me from having a fixed time, although we really do try to do it at 7 p.m. Anyway, that's it. I'm out. See you later.